Great moments, great wins in this fixture. What is it about it that floats your boat?
I think it's always a massive game, Scotland against England, isn't it? So, there's a lot of history behind it, but I think as a team we've got ourselves to a place where we've been professional in our week building up to the game, and we're approaching it in a very professional way, and we're not getting too caught up in the history and the passion and the emotion behind it. So I think it has changed over the last few years, with results probably going more in our favour, whereas before it was, obviously it always is a massive win to beat England, but before it was seen slightly differently than I think it's viewed now. So like I say, we've had a really professional week building up to the game, and we're in a good place.
You're always at the games like this, going into any game, to be perfectly honest. A lot of chat about the England blitz, Felix Jones running that, just like he did with South Africa in the summer, or in the World Cup. What have you, looking back, have you looked back at that World Cup, the way South Africa played against you, and what did you learn about playing against a blitz?
Yeah, we have looked back. We've talked about the game. Obviously, we've looked at the first two games of England this campaign. I think our learnings from the World Cup was kind of not to go into our shell if we do feel the pressure under the blitz. There were chances in that game against South Africa that we probably never saw on the pitch because we were under pressure. We maybe went into our shell a little bit. So I think tomorrow, just having belief in ourselves, trusting the work that we've put in over the last 6 months, a year, and staying on task. At times we will be under pressure and it will be tough, but I think that's more fallback to what we've done this week and the last few weeks building up to this game, that we can have belief and confidence in ourselves, and hopefully we take some of the chances that are out there tomorrow.
Just a couple more for me to neutralise you, can probably neutralise Scotland. How do you feel about that?
I think it's probably similar to a lot of teams. A lot of 10s are the key player in the attack of the team. I'm not sure what England are going to do, if they're going to try and fly out the line and take me out, or if they're going to try and shut me down from the outside. But that's something we'll have to figure out in the game, and we'll have to be able to adapt. Myself, Sione, Hugh being on the same page, and having Blair out wide being another option. So the more aligned we are going into the game, and then as the game unfolds and how we can adapt, the better it'll be. And if they try and shut me down, then that means that we might have to go through Sione or Blair or use someone else further out to create more chances. So although the 10 controls a lot of the attack, it's not just down to me to create things. So we'll be looking to use other boys to try and take that away from them.
And finally, you may or may not have noticed about the sad loss of his mum. Very, very emotional stuff. This is a game we're playing tomorrow, but there's another part of this as well, and I'm sure your heart would go out to him.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I got on with Jamie really well on the Lions tour in 21. He's a great man. So I'm really sorry to hear that so close to the game. So I'll probably actually give him a text tonight now I know that, and send my condolences to him, because that's obviously such a tough thing to deal with. So yeah, I didn't know that, but that's terrible to hear for him. But I hope him and his family are all okay, and he's okay, ready for the game coming tomorrow.
And is this always the biggest game of the season?
I think it would always be one of them. I think, like I kind of mentioned in the past, we hadn't really won many times against England, and the recent sort of 4, 5, 6 years we have been more successful there. So I think, going back to when I first started playing with Scotland, it was a massive game and one of the biggest games of the calendar. But I think now we've got to a great position where they're all kind of similar. We're not satisfied just by beating one or two teams in this competition. So it is still a massive game, and everything that's behind it and the history behind it. But I think for us, we've got to approach it just as another game and another chance for us to get a victory. So I think there is a lot behind it, but we've spoken this week about singling this game out as we do the other ones, and just preparing as best we can for the team that's in front of us.
Do you feel that there was a turning point psychologically in this fixture at any point over the year?
I think a lot of things change in sport. You see teams go through highs and through lows. I think with us in England, we've been progressing. They've been great, and I think maybe the last few years they've potentially not been as good as they can be. I think the World Cup showed how good they can be, getting to the semi-final. They've obviously won their first two games this campaign, so they're getting back to where they should be. I think they're one of the best teams in the world, and maybe we've had rubber the green in the last few years, but it can change so quickly in sport. So we can't look back at the last few games and think, it's turned in our favour. Every time we play England, it's always a huge challenge, and we've got to be at our best to have a chance to beat them.
Just 80 minutes, so you, in your mind, that you've had a defeat, kind of margin for error's gone, this is to be a chance at the championship, a chance at the Triple Crown. It's got to be a victory.
Yeah, I think to get us back on track, a victory is the most important thing for us. You never know what will happen in other results, but we want to get ourselves back on track and get a victory tomorrow. I think the last couple of campaigns we've maybe won 3 out of 5 games, so we're looking to progress and try and get more than that, which would then mean that we have to win the next 3 games, which is no easy feat. But I think that's our expectation, that's our goal as a team, to keep progressing year on year. So after the disappointment against France, we need to do our best to beat England obviously tomorrow, and then building on that into the last 2 games. So I think for us in this campaign, tomorrow's a massive game for us to try and take a step forward and build off a defeat.
Were you surprised that England could?
I really expected Freddie Shoot to play. I thought they'd have gone with the blitz defence and looked to test us in the air or go hard in the aerial battle, which would be kind of similar to South Africa. I think picking Furbank, it shows that they might try and play it a little bit more. Maybe that's due to having Kerr at 9. And then not having Lawrence back, obviously, so maybe their style of play will be slightly different. So I think we've just got to be ready for everything. I think Furbank's a brilliant player. Chatting to Rory Hutchinson about him, he talks him up, obviously being his teammate. So yes, I think it's a slightly different team than what we maybe expected, but I think we've got to be ready for anything, whether it's that kicking game into hard blitz defence or they're looking to run it a little bit more. I think it's meant to be dry, so for both teams, if we want to run it, that should help both. But yeah, no, I think Furbank's a brilliant player, and obviously I know Ollie from Bath and know his strengths, so I think we've got to be ready for everything tomorrow.
Great, thank you. And to written, and if I can ask photographers to